Good evening. We apologize for the slight delay in starting our meeting. We're celebrating the retirement of teachers here in Warren County Schools. So at this point, I'd like to announce that we've established a quorum and call the May 28, 2024 work session meeting to order. But before we do, I'd like to note that Vice Chair Sims is not present today, and Board Member Tally Brain is online virtually. So I'll entertain a motion now.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the May 28th, May 28th, 2024 board meeting agenda.
Yeah, I'm sorry. As I said, we've been celebrating and kind of just come in here. Let me start all over again. Let me just start. So I call the establishment, I announce and call that we have a quorum and call the May 28th, 2024 work session business meeting to order. Now, if we are so inclined, may we join in a moment of silence. Thank you. So as I said, we're celebrating here at Warren County Middle School quite a few teachers who have retired. So at the end of the school year, we'd also like to recognize all those graduates who have graduated in the 2024 year. Thank all the teachers for all the hard work, the administration for all their hard work, staff, and particularly thank all the students for all the hard work that they've shown this school year, and wish everyone a wonderful holiday summer season, and and we're already thinking about preparing for next year's 2024-25 school year. Any board member have anything else they'd like to include? No. Okay, if not, Superintendent Sutton, if you have updates you'd like to share.
Yes, good evening. We'll start with our summer learning programs. Registration is still open for the district's summer learning programs. All of our camps are at no cost to families. Breakfast, lunch, and transportation will be provided at each camp. Space is limited, so please register your student now. We're offering programs for all school age groups with focuses on reading, math, arts, career and technical education, and transportation. High school students could even earn money just by actively participating in certain camps. We're holding an online virtual family meeting about our summer learning programs tomorrow night, Wednesday, May 20th, from 5:30 to 6:30. Again, we're having a virtual family meeting for our summer learning camps tomorrow, Wednesday, May 29th, from 5:30 to 6:30. We have the link to join that virtual family meeting and information about all of our summer camp learning opportunities posted on each school's website and the district website, which is www.warrenk12nc.org. So again, if you're interested in participating in that virtual family meeting, visit your school's website or the district website at www.warrenk12nc.org. As Chair Lehman also stated, graduations we just completed, and I want to congratulate the 129 new graduates of Warren County Schools. On Saturday, we celebrated 107 students for their graduation from Warren County High School. Together, the Warren County High School class of 2024 earned nearly $1.5 million in scholarships. We also have had several students joining the military and others going straight into the workforce. Similarly, the week before, we celebrated the 22 graduates of Warren Early College High School. All 22 of those graduates graduated with their high school diploma and an associate's degree from Vance Granville Community College. And all 22 of them have been accepted to four-year colleges or universities. We are so proud of every one of these young people and their accomplishments to date. I say so far because we're just excited to see what they'll accomplish in the future. Congratulations to our class of 2024. While the high schools have wrapped up for the year, our middle and elementary school students are still going. We've still got EOGs, so there's no skating through these last couple of weeks. We want to make sure that our K through 8th graders finish strong. We also want to mention their upcoming promotion ceremonies. Northside 5th graders get promoted on the next to last day of school, which is Thursday, June 6th at 4 p.m. Marion Boyd and Vaughn Elementary both have their promotion ceremonies on the last day of school, Friday, June 7th, both at 9 a.m. And Warren County Middle School is holding its 8th grade promotion ceremony that same evening, Friday, June 7th at 6 p.m. Again, that's Northside 5th graders, Thursday, June 6th at 4. Marion Boyd and Vaughn Elementary, promotion ceremonies on the last day of school, Friday, June 7th, both at 9 a.m. And Warren County Middle School is holding its 8th grade promotion ceremony Friday, June 7th at 6 p.m. Please come out and support these young folks as well. Now is the time to register your 3, 4, or 5-year-old for kindergarten or pre-K. All you have to do is go to the elementary school closest to your home, and they will help you enroll your child. For kindergarten, your child must be 5 years old before August 31st, and for pre-K, they have to be 4 years old by August 31st. We have a list of those documents, again, on our district website, www.warrenk12nc.org/enroll. I also want to take just a minute to recognize our outstanding child nutrition staff at Marion Boyd, Northside, Vaughn Elementary, Warren County Middle, and Warren Early College. All these schools have received a perfect 100 sanitation score. And Warren County High School is very close, just a point behind with a 99. So if you've looked at sanitation grades at restaurants, and we know you all do, you see how rare it is for them to have such high scores. So it's a testament to the hard work, professionalism, and the high standards of our child nutrition team every day. Congratulations to them, and keep up the good work. Speaking of our child nutrition team, they're still planning to serve our children during the summer months. They'll provide free, nutritious food for breakfast and lunch to all children under the age of 18. Again, that's free breakfast and lunch to all students under the age of 18. Not just students, all children under the age of 18. So if you live in the district, you're under the age of 18, free lunch and free breakfast over the summer. You'll be able to eat in or pick up meals Monday through Thursday at Marion Boyd and Warren County Middle School, starting June 17th, running through July 11th. At Northside, starting June 24th through August the 9th. And at Warren County High School, starting June 10th through July 19th. All feeding sites will be closed during the week of July 4th. And last but not least, again, as Chair Lehman stated, we just completed a very nice warm dinner for our retirement celebration for our retirees. We had several of our dedicated staff enter retirement this year, and we took time this evening to celebrate them, to thank them, reward them for not only their hard work, dedication, and commitment, but to also wish them well and congratulate them and send them off with good luck and Godspeed. So congratulations to our retirees this year. And last but not least, our radio show, Learn More with Warren County Schools, will be live on WARR 1520 AM and 105.3 FM next Thursday from noon until 12:30. We hope you can listen on the radio, stream it online from the radio station's website, or watch us live on the Warren County Schools Facebook page. Chair Lehman, that concludes my remarks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sutton. Just, will there be a schedule of the meals and the locations on our website? Because that was, okay. So in case you didn't hear exactly what school, where, and when, please look at our website for that summer opportunity. Okay, at this time, before I ask for a motion to approve the agenda, I'd like to add an action item to amend the summer testing schedule. So with that said, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Madam Chair, I make a motion.
So we need to, I apologize, we need to take,
To include,
so first we need to take action on the motion to amend the agenda. So we'd first vote on
Okay.
that.
okay, so first I need to make a motion to amend the agenda to
Yes.
include an action item to amend the summer testing schedule.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the agenda for the testing,
Just to amend the agenda.
to amend the agenda.
I second.
Okay, so I have a motion to amend the agenda and a second by Board Member Byrd and Board Member Long to amend the agenda.
Now you move to
To-
approve. Now
Okay,
you move to approve the amended agenda.
and so that's my next thing. I'm sorry, yes. So at this point then, I need a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion that we approve the amended agenda.
Second?
Okay, so we have a motion by Board Member Long and a second by Board Member Byrd to approve the amended agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, may we vote? As well as with the voting sound of aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. At this point then, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second?
So I have a motion by Board Member Tallybrain and a second by Board Member Byrd that we approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, may we vote, as well as with the voting sound of aye? Aye. That motion carries. We'll move to public comment, and we have Ronaldo Espinosa. Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Ronaldo Espinosa, and I had a bad situation. I just want to find out why the school don't allow the parents to come and sit in the classes with the kids while they're in school. And the other thing too is why the school board, have a meeting with the community and talk to the community about the school, about what you're doing in here, explain to them everything you've been doing since you've been in office. That'd be nice. No, I think I'm gonna mail you guys this thing right here. It'll be better. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Espinosa. All right, now we'll move to information items. Teacher and School Leader Incentive Grant, is that you, Mr. Sutton?
Yes, so we want to provide for you this evening, an overview of what we refer to as a TESOL grant, the Teacher and School Leader Incentive Grant. We mentioned this several months ago regarding a significant grant that we received through our partnership with TIP, the Innovation Project. They received a federal grant from the Department of Education that included 8 districts. We're one of them to participate in the Teacher and a School Leader Incentive Program. At this time, Rashana Price with Area Success is here, and she'll talk more, provide an overview of that grant.
Thank you, Mr. Sutton. Good evening, board members. Hello. Thank you for having me. We're very excited to partner with Warren County for this grant and other resources to help expand the capacity of the team while this grant and other resources are deployed into the district. So I'm going to take you through the materials. You also have in your, the slides are up there, but you also have a vanilla folder that has all of the materials in it as well. So you can follow on and take notes, and please stop me if you have any questions as well. Okay? All right. So during our time, we're going to talk about 3 specific things related to the grant so that you'll know an overview about the grant and the team structure. You'll also have an understanding of what our implementation plan is. And then the grant is actually 3 years. We're finishing up year 1, heading into year 2, which is 2024-2025 school year, and then 2025 and 2026. So we wanted to make sure that the board was aware of all the work that's been happening behind the scenes as we are working with several different partners as a part of this grant. So overview of the grant and the team. So the grant as a whole is a part of a larger initiative, and there are 8 North Carolina LEAs that are a part of this grant. Warren County is one of them. And there are several metrics related to the grant that are a part of all 8 districts coming together to then decide this is how we're going to think about it, what it means to incentivize teachers and incentivize administrators when it comes to teaching and mentorship and other areas of the professional development parts of this grant. And so we wanted to make sure that you were aware of that because you may start to hear things coming from TIP, which is the Innovative Project. That is the organization that got all of the grant dollars and is distributing them to Warren County. And then within those materials, Insight Education is one of the partners, the Innovation Project, TIP, and the Teaching Channel. These are all 3 different entities that Erie Success partners with Warren to be sure comes together so that the Warren team doesn't have to work with 3 different organizations. We bring them together and say, this is what we're doing. The evaluation of this grant and of all of the resources is from a third party. That is Middle LLC. They've been hired by the Innovation Project to evaluate Warren County and what we're doing with the resources, as well as the 7 other districts as well. So all 8 are being evaluated from one third-party organization. And we thought that was important to bring to you all so that you would know as a board members. Yes, ma'am.
That evaluation, do we get to see it?
We will bring the summary of that. That goes to the TIP, the Innovation Project first, and then they'll give us a copy. And so we can absolutely share that with you. We'll ask for that.
And that will show the impact that this program has on the student achievement and whatever.
It will show, and I'm going to go into that a little bit more, it will show how Warren County is using the resources and how all the other districts as well are using the resources, because all 8 are in the same grant together.
But not how it impacted anything.
Well, the impact will come from the resources that are used. I think it'll make sense in a second when I get to the professional development. Before I get there, I do want to acknowledge the team that's been working on this. There's an advisory team, which is Mr. Sutton, myself, and a team member from Erie Success. We have the design and the implementation team, which is made up of the advisory team, along with human resources, Dr. Kedra Whitaker, Jackie Hargrove, and Dr. LaTanya McNeil. And then the users of all of this will be beginning teachers specifically we want to focus on because there's a need there, along with directors and all directors across the district, as well as principals and administrators and APs, as well as focusing on mentors. And so we wanted to make sure that in this grant, you have to identify who are the users as a part of the impact that happens later. And so the update on the plan, we'll get to the question around impact for students. So this grant requires that we hire 2 new lead teachers, and then, so those are instructional teachers, and then 4 teachers as well that'll be in the classroom. So there's 6 total positions. We're working with HR right now to get those positions posted and hired for an August start. In addition to that, this is where the impact comes in. There was a tool that was written into this grant specifically for professional development. It is called the Teaching Channel. we have to customize that tool for Warren County, and all of the 8 districts are using the same tool and will customize it. And then the usage, how often are the mentors and teachers logging in and using the videos and talking to one another, how often are they using it? That's the usage that's going to come from that report. And what the Teaching Channel and TIP, the organization that wrote the grant, is saying is that they've done this before, and when used well, it does impact instruction. And so that's the information, Ms. Long, that we'll be bringing back to you. Does that answer your question from before? Okay, great. So this is a big part of it, because customizing a resource, while it sounds easy, it is actually very hard, because we have to spend time deciding what users will get what. Beginning teachers get something different on the platform than mentor teachers, then do veteran teachers and assistant principals, et cetera. And so that's the work that the design and the implementation team will be doing. Okay. So here's a little bit more. We wanted you to be aware of where we are in the timeline, because this is a 3-year-long grant and we're finishing year 1 to get all 8 districts together. This is the implementation specifically for the Teaching Channel, and we are in the process right now of working with the specific person from Teaching Channel who's going to be on our design team with our team. And over the summer, we will be building out the platform with our team and then looking to deploy it, meaning bring it to the teachers and the users when we start school. So in 2024 through 2026, this is the main execution of the plan. We are continuing to work on focusing and standardizing in 2024 and 2025. The innovative project that wrote the grant for all 8 LEAs, one of their main key points is sustainability after the grant dollars go away. They want to make sure that the positions that are put into the grant can be sustained, as well as the resources, the professional development tools. And so we're working in 2024, 2025, our goal will be on focusing on standardizing that, and then in 2025, 2026, determining what the sustainability model will look like, meaning where are those positions going to come from for additional dollars, how will we continue to embed what we've learned around professional development into the current resources and future resources. Any questions? That's it.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yes. Oh.
Victoria, did you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So if I understand correctly, and I think you've captured it, in a really complicit way, but I just want to just make sure I hear what you're saying. So we have approximately the 3 people you called on that said was working with this grant was the superintendent, yourself, and who was the third person? Somebody from TIP?
Christina Fountain, she actually is our grant coordinator, so she is a part of Erie Success and works directly with the TIP team for all administrative endeavors related to this, so the reimbursements, et cetera.
Gotcha. And then you said that Dr. Whitaker, McNair, and Ms. Hargrove were the other 3, correct?
That's correct.
So when Ms. Long asks about how do we measure the impact, this is the closeout of the first year. Have you guys received any information on how successful or things that maybe we have to look at for this going into the second year now?
So year 1 of the grant was written to be a phased-in approach so that every district didn't have to jump in and say, we're going to have this impact. This was the first year to figure out what we needed, and that's what we've been working on behind the scenes. That's what's gotten us to this point, to be able to say, this is what our plan is going to be. And that was really gracious and innovative, actually, for TIP to do that, so that the 3 years wouldn't be you've got to get going. Actually, the first year was about planning what we would need to do for year 2 to create the focus, and then year 3, the sustainability.
And then you said that okay, got you. So then the year 2, going into year 2, you're saying that we're supposed to, like, you guys are going to customize the standards and then sustainability. Is that what I heard?
Year 2 is about building out the teacher platform. The Teaching Channel platform, which is the main resource that the grant is going to be using in terms of usage, how often, when they say usage, they mean how often are teachers logging into this professional development platform and using it for instructional support? And then from that usage, that's what they're going to be measuring across all of the other districts.
So the platform has not been set up yet, or has it?
It has not for Warren County.
Okay, so we don't have anything to measure because you guys are just implementing kind of like the phase-in process.
Correct. So year one, we didn't have to report measures. At the end of year two, we will.
I got you. And you did say that Dr. Whitaker was going to help you find or hire 2 new teachers, and then, so 2 teachers that will be new, and then 4, or maybe 2 lead teachers, and then 4 other teachers?
Yes, so 2 teachers will be new, 2 positions are new to the district, and 4 are being positioned into this grant, so being paid for out of this grant, reimbursed.
Can we talk about how we're going to make that happen? Because right now, we can't even fill the vacancies. I mean, like, we're doing a really good job with,
Yes.
trying to fill them, but we're struggling with finding teachers.
Absolutely.
So what are you guys going to do differently to get these 6 teachers that you need?
So what we've been doing and what we will continue to do is we've been looking at those that are actually not in an active recruitment phase, meaning they aren't actually putting their resume out. We've been tapping on people to say, are you interested in coming to Warren County? Because what we find is when we've been able to talk to people that are interested in working somewhere different, and we can share the narrative of who Warren County is and what is happening here and how things are changing, people want to be a part of that. That has been something over the last couple of years in recruitment. We've seen a tremendous uptick in people knowing more about Warren, and when they know more, they want to come. In addition to that, this grant allows for us to move positions that are currently getting off-boarded, meaning funding is going away, into this grant, and so we are also doing that. All of these positions will be solidified in August, so we still have time to make sure we get the right people in the seats and get them prepared to do this work with the mission.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
You're welcome. Are there others?
So, do I understand the district is not responsible for any budgeting?
So the district is being reimbursed for these positions as a part of the grant. So meaning Warren County first puts the money in, and then the grant, we submit receipts, and then it comes back to the district. So it is a net zero when it comes to the district itself.
So in essence, it's not going to cost
It
the
does not
district?
cost, no.
It states here that the networked improvement community will focus on promoting equity in student access to educational resources and opportunities. How does that work? What does that look like? What does that mean?
So the equity and the access to resources, can you read the statement one more time? I just want to make sure I get all pieces.
It says the NIC will focus on promoting equity in student access to educational resources and opportunities.
Is that on the slide, or is that, I'm sorry, I don't know. Where are you reading that from?
It's in the summary.
It's in the summary.
It's in our summary.
Yeah.
Oh,
It-
I just want to make sure I'm pulling it up because I see some people are confused, and
Yeah. So I'm like,
slide, there's a lot here.
Yeah.
It's
Do
on
you mean
the.
in the,
it's
do you
on
mean in
the-
the Précy posted? Is that what you're referencing, Madam Chair?
Is it in this?
I'm
It's
sorry.
At the end of that first paragraph in the Précy?
Yeah, but TESOL funding will support tips.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious what that looks like, what that means, because what you're saying, I don't see how that aligns.
How that
So
aligns?
I'm just trying to
Yeah,
understand.
so the equity piece comes in related to how we are training teachers, all teachers, they'll have access to the same resource. And when they have that access to the same resource, but they get to decide how they're using it and what resources. Like I said, the beginning teachers are going to get certain parts, not everything, because they're at a different stage in their career than
Okay.
teachers that have been here longer. That's the equity piece. We aren't giving everyone everything, we're giving them what they need to get really great at their profession and be able to come into communities of practice, which is one of the bullets in the summary, that the grant is also recommending that the district does as a part of this, is create communities where educators come together to talk and think and share best practices. And we've done that before. This is giving us a chance to do it with a technical resource as well.
So is this for is our district in every school?
So this will touch every school. It's not in every school. 2 of the positions are non-instructional, meaning they're not tied to classrooms. So they'll be looking at what's happening across the schools
Okay.
where the other 4 teachers are. So 4 of the educators, we don't know where they're going to be placed yet. That's a part of, once they're hired, we will put them in the right seats in the right places.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions? Okay. Thank you for that information.
You're welcome. Thank you for your
Look
time.
forward to working with you.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
It sounds exciting, actually. All right, moving right along, we'll move to the first action item, which is Relay and its partnership with Warren County Schools.
Thank you. So in March of 2023, State Superintendent Catherine Truitt recommended and the State Board of Education approved the use of additional ESSER funds to expand the support given to schools with a low-performing designation. A review of those schools who have persisted with this designation since 2015 revealed 22 districts that could possibly benefit from expanded services from DPI. Warren County Schools is one of the 22 districts that qualify for these services. In April, DPI contacted me at that time and offered these services, which we accepted, and the partnership with Relay began. Over the past school year, Relay provided 12 days of coaching in schools that involved classroom observations, planning supports for teachers and or grade levels departments, and practicing of instructional leadership skills. Relay also provided 8 hours of virtual coaching per month, 8 one-hour Zoom meetings, or 11, and 45-minute Zoom meetings. Meetings were with the superintendent, district leadership, and school leaders and focused on development of instructional leadership skills. Leaders in Warren and around the state have benefited tremendously from the Relay partnership. At this time, however, state funding for these services has ended due to the expiration of ESSER funds. Warren County Schools and Relay are working to create a plan to continue supporting the district and the progress that has been made. And so we're providing to you a proposal from Relay to continue services with Relay at this time. So I'm going to call on Dr. Cynthia Martin, who is here from the Department of Public Instruction, to talk a little bit about the Relay partnership and how that work has, how we came to this work, how this work has benefited Warren County Schools and other information. So Dr. Martin.
First, I'd like to say good afternoon to the Warren County School Board, staff members, and the audience. I am Cynthia Martin, Director of District and Regional Support. And I have along with me, who should come up here with me, my Assistant Director, Mr. Alessandro Montaneri, who has led NCELA for the state of North Carolina. We decided to pursue or create NCELA through the Relay Graduate School of Education. We started in 2020. We piloted the learning in public schools of Robeson County. And what we wanted to do, we were charged with the state board to build a support structure for schools that had been low performing for a number of years. We started with coaches at all levels, but the center of our model is the principal. And so we wanted to think about how could we ensure that the principals we supported are instructional leaders. And Relay gave us those tools. And so we were, or as the leader of the office, I was immediately attracted to how Relay laid out their professional development. We patterned our NCELA after some of the lessons learned in the public schools of Robeson County. One of the things that really stood out, it was the fact that educators were given an opportunity to learn new skills, practice new skills, and put those skills into practice the very next day. And so what we did over a 2-year period, we planned 10 professional development days based on subjects we knew were sorely needed to support principals. We invited 60 districts to join us, and when Superintendent Truitt gave us these additional funds, we reached out to those schools that we hadn't entered initially to ask them if they were interested in participating. And those schools, those districts were given the opportunity to have intensive coaching directly from the Relay Graduate School of Education. Mr. Montanari here rolled out the 4 cohorts of learning for our entire state, and I want to give him an opportunity to talk about some of the lessons learned and some of the successes that we've had with NC-ELA.
Thank you, Dr. Martin. Good evening, Board. Yeah, I mean, we basically, as Dr. Martin stated, one of the things that we've noticed across the state of North Carolina, and you probably noticed this in Warren County, in fact, recruitment and retention came up with the question from the board member, is that our workforce is changing. And our leaders in our schools, in the past, you could be a principal and just be a great manager and run a school, but now you truly have to be an instructional leader of the building. You have to be able to grow your staff. You have to be able to get teachers and grow them into outstanding educators. So our main purpose with these 10 sessions that Dr. Martin pointed out was exactly that, is how do we get more and more educators across the state to build their own and grow their own in their districts where they're at. The sessions were attended by over 1,500 educators, including those from Warren County that came. And then in addition, we had, because of the fact that Warren was able to benefit from these extra funds that State Superintendent Truitt awarded, we did have a relay coach, Mr. Rooney, work with 4 schools this year in Warren County. So basically, they took what they learned from the trainings and came back and then practiced how to implement it. So that was what took place this year, and the hope is, from Superintendent Sutton, is to extend this work moving forward.
I think we had a video.
We do have a video. There's no one better than educators from the state to show you the success, so we do have a video for you.
The work at NC-ELA supports our school transformation by helping us focus in on our school values, which are to increase rigor and stronger instruction in our schools that is equitable and includes all students.
So the work with NC-ELA has been outstanding by helping us think more intentionally and strategically about how to create a more inclusive environment in our school. Not only thinking about the strengths that our students come to school with, but also thinking about with our teachers, how do we capitalize on the expertise in our building? How do we create an inclusive environment where professional development is being intentionally driven by our core values, our mission and vision as a school, and what does that look like? What are those behaviors that we should expect to see? So really having some open, transparent conversations as a school about where we are and where we want to be.
It provides a roadmap on how to grow teachers. There are so many tools that we were able to bring to our state. So principals and instructional leaders who assist principals can use those resources at their fingertips to help teachers improve. And so NC-ELA gave our principals an opportunity that was kind of unique. It gave them the opportunity to practice skills in order to better serve teachers and thus kids in their building.
NC-ELA is a framework that's just ongoing, and it's transformative because of that, and it's very supportive. It's not punitive to teachers. It really is about making the principal and the leadership staff, the district leadership staff, support and grow. And in their growth, they're able to grow teachers.
My work with NC ELA has impacted the teacher that I support in a tremendous way because it provides the why in what we do every day, understanding the data, but now how that impacts our teachers through the strategic strategies that NC ELA has provided helps us to intentionally see immediate feedback and understanding on why we need to improve different practices.
My work at NC ELA has helped me become a more effective leader by giving me opportunity to reflect on my leadership skills and also create plans that I can actually implement in my school to bring out and maximize instruction for our leaders and our students.
Through NC ELA, we're acquiring the skills that allow us to empower principals to take really big ideas or concepts that seem daunting and reduce them down to high leverage action steps that are practical and applicable to their daily work. My principals that I support have articulated time and time again how empowered they feel and how much NC ELA has contributed to that empowerment.
I have developed my coaching voice through the use of the Get Better Faster model. It has given me specific practice in ways that I can use it with new teachers and beginning teachers that will elicit change within their instruction.
Our work currently with NC ELA helps us to hone in on what we need to prioritize. So I would say being more intentional about prioritization steps versus looking at the big picture all the time. Let's see how we can chunk this work so that transformation is realized in a realistic way.
We are committed to this model. We know that it was funded through ESSER funds, which are going away September 30th of this year. We have planned in July for 60 district leaders to join us. Invitations went out to selected districts who had participated to join us to build capacity so they can keep this learning going in the district. I believe that's scheduled for July.
The week of July 24th.
Yeah, and so we are happy to try to answer any questions at this time.
I think my concern is that according to the video, those were principals speaking.
Some were. So when we started it throughout the state, principal is the center, but we tried to invite people who support instruction along with that principal. So there were teams at each professional learning session.
Okay, because I would like to see that from Warren County. I like to see the, the excitement that I saw here. That kind of tells me something is really going on. So I would love to hear something from the principals and the other team members that are working with them, with instruction.
Evidence of impact.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
may I ask a question?
Take a question.
Yeah, you may say something. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
You want me to wait? I'm sorry.
She said, go ahead.
Okay. So I guess my question is, maybe piggyback off of what Joyce is saying. So if we've used this program, Relay, in the past with our ESSER funds, correct?
No.
And because it's going out in...
No, those were the state's ESSER funds. Those were DPI funds.
I said, that's what I just said. We use this program with our ESSER funds, correct?
Yes, it was paid for by the Department of Public Instruction, the funds that we had access to. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think that's very clear to me. I guess what the ask is today is because it's actually going to be depleted September the 30th, then you're saying, okay, so let's continue this initiative because it's working well in Warren County, and let's figure out how we can fund it, right?
Essentially, that's correct. Yeah.
So I guess my question would be is how do we measure what has already taken place with the, so far? How do we know that this is working? Do we have any examples that can share? We got something from this video, but I'm concerned with Warren County and what Warren County is doing. Was anybody on that video? Because it was hard for me to see from Warren County. I wasn't sure.
I didn't see any of our folks from our team in the video. You have attached to the agenda up on the screen what is our evidence of impact to this point.
I see that.
Yeah, we used Relay and participated in NC-ELA for this first year. So right now what we have is more anecdotal data regarding the evidence of impact from the program. So these are all statements from those from our staff that attended.
Okay. I just know that, what was shared is that, things were this program is very transformational. We're trying to build our own, grow our own, and things like that. And if that's the case, I would hope, Keith, we're trying to do that within our own district ourselves. We've been working towards that. So this is another layer of how they're going to support us to build our own, grow our own, and all of the great things and that they talked about as far as increasing rigor, making the environment inclusive and things like that. I guess I just don't know how to measure. I don't see the impact. I read, what was taking place. I guess I would say that we may be seeing it or feeling it. And maybe it's just me, I don't know.
Well, I think research shows that any new initiative should be given anywhere from 3 to 5 years in order to see what its true impact is. Based on what we've seen in the state, the program brings skills that have been shown based on research to help transform schools. And so we feel, and if there was a way that we could say that it would continue, it 100% would continue, but everything is based on whether or not new initiatives at the State Department are funded. We just saw the momentum and the learning that was taking place with participants, and we wanted to do everything we could to keep that going. A number of districts have said, based on what they've seen, they wanted to keep it going. There's only one district, I think, Public Schools of Robeson County, where this has been implemented the longest, and they have shown true success. Our first metric that we always look at, are you still low performing? So that's the first metric. And then we start to look at internal metrics about, has this made a difference in processes and procedures that affect school improvement? And so that's what we wanted to come here today to try to echo.
So how many years, I do agree, research does show that it takes about 3 to 5 years to see impact. I totally agree with that. How many years have this is the first year or what?
So in the Public Schools of Robeson County, it started in 2020, and in statewide, we rolled it out in 2021.
And so 2021, 22, 23, 24, we're in year 2024. Help me understand.
Alessandro told me we rolled it out in 2022, and so
and
then we offered Warren County the intensive model, which had a coach from Relay Graduate School of Education coming out. That was the last initiative that we put in place for Warren County.
Okay. Thank you.
Dr. Martin, can you talk a little bit about the work in Robeson, just kind of give a high-level overview of how that work helped transform that district out of low-performing status and why DPI sort of chose this model as its preferred when it comes to district and school transformation and support?
Well, the work in Public Schools of Robeson County really started with the vision of that superintendent, and he wanted it. We started with 12 schools, but then we went district-wide. And all principals were trained, all assistant principals were trained, and then all instructional coaches were trained. What they did, they actually took some of their own positions and kind of reworked those positions to create what Relay would call a principal supervisor. And these are their own coaches in addition to the coaches that we gave them, working and using this as a guideline for how to talk. We talk about observation and feedback. We talk about culture. We talk about using data. We talk about conducting data meetings and lesson meetings. And we used all of that information to create a different type of culture within that district. We were attracted to it because we take for granted that people who are educators automatically know how to do things. As Alessandro described, our workforce is changing. We have a lot of people who teaching is not their first career. They're making changes and coming to education as a second career. And based on what we saw, this was something that we could easily put in place and help people learn how to adopt those best practices. And so that's why we were attracted to it.
Yeah, I'll just add, I mean, I've been working at the department since 2010, and the work down in public schools of Robeson County is amazing. They have some incredible principals now leading schools down there, and much of it is because of their growth these past 3 years with the help of the Relay coach. To answer the board member's question, Warren County has had the Relay coach only for 1 year. Mr. Rooney has only been here 1 year, but the hope is that as capacity continues to get built in Warren County, that obviously then this becomes sustainable because you start growing your own and building your own and keeping your leaders within your district.
To that end, you mentioned it started in Robeson in 2020, you rolled out statewide in 2022, and this was our first year here in Warren County. So with that being said, why do you think it's important for us to continue this work?
Yeah, for everything that Dr. Martin stated, it's just to keep the momentum going. We've seen tremendous success. I mean, I won't call out districts, but we have 14 districts that have the Relay coaches in the schools working with them this year. And many of these districts are saying it's night and day different, the principals that are working with the Relay coach and the principals that are not. They're truly building these instructional leaders that are needed.
Go ahead.
Forgive me, I was just going to ask a point of clarification to Mr. Sutton. And looking at the second attachment, it looks like there are 3 different options for the board, and I wasn't sure if one was being recommended for the board's review.
We're recommending option C, which is the same level of support that the state provided in this past year, which is the 12 on-site visits and then the virtual meetings that were described in the precinct.
Thank you. And I would just recommend that to the extent the board entertains a motion to approve the partnership, I would recommend you do that consistent with a service contract model approved by Mr. Sutton and me, given that this will be the first year that the district itself is expending funds, right, as part of the relationship? Okay, thank you.
I have a question. I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand. We is DPI. You've used we throughout the thing. Then there's Relay, the organization that we might be partnering with, which then you said there's the Relay Graduate School of Education is something that, and then there's the NC ELA. That's the first time that's been introduced. That was not in our summary. I'm trying to put all the pieces together. If you may help me understand all those pieces.
So Relay Graduate School of Education is the vendor. And when we piloted in public schools of Robeson County, we wanted it to be ours. And so we named it the North Carolina Instructional Leadership Academy.
Oh, okay.
So when we talk about the vendor, the person that we had the contract with, it was Relay Graduate School of Education.
Okay.
But we've taken what, and they provided the professional development, and they provided 14 districts in our state with a coach to come directly into the district to help the district process and learn and put into practice what they learned coming to NC ELA, which were the PD sessions that we had across the state for 2 years. And so
So
it
does
is
exist at this
confusing.
point?
Excuse me?
Does it exist, NC ELA? It does exist.
It does, it just ended.
It just ended, so it did exist, but it doesn't now.
We just had our 10th session with the 1,500 participants.
Okay. I was
Second
struggling to
week of
put all
May.
that together. Okay, so you're here in support of endorsing us using Relay,
Yeah,
moving forward for the second and then really third year, because DPI paid for the first year, then we're going to have to own it the second and then third year, because that's kind of, it's going to take 3 years is what you're saying, right?
At least.
Research shows that in order for an initiative to take hold, it can be anywhere from 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5.
We just saw the momentum that had been created across the state, and we wanted to lend our voice to just talking about what we had implemented at the state level.
And the
So,
proposal.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I'm sorry. So I guess my next question would be to Superintendent Sutton. I'm sure you have talked with our finance person that is acting and found this money because you brought it to us. So I just want to be clear.
That's correct, that we could do the option C at a cost, as you see on the screen, of $98,585. We'd be able to fund it through, we would be able to use some of our remaining extra funds through the year, through December, and cover half of it through ESSER, and then the rest of it we will be able to cover through district funds.
Okay? Thank you for that.
And Madam Chair, I just wondered, as a former teacher and administrator, I'm excited about it. I would have been, and I just don't see that coming from my principals, and that's my dilemma. I don't see that.
Well, I can add one thing that is very attractive about it is that it does not make assumptions. The professional learning that's offered, it does not make assumptions about what you know already and what you don't know already.
Right.
And it gives you basically a script that you can walk through and adapt to your situation, but it kind of like holds your hand in order to create the processes that may be lacking in a school that's not performing. And so we have been very impressed with it, and we felt like it was value add for the schools that participate.
And as a former teacher, board member Long, I would recommend, one of the main instruments that they use is the Get Better, Faster Scope and Sequence. It is publicly available on Google, so you can download it. I highly recommend you take a look at that. It is amazing to grow teachers, to build teacher capacity, and it's very simple, very easy to learn. It at least establishes that model for our principals to use.
What is it that we can download? I'm sorry, I missed that.
It's called the Get Better, Faster Scope and Sequence. GBF is the acronym because we love acronyms in education, but it is the Get Better, Faster Scope and Sequence.
So you said this model is centered around the principal, so this work would continue to be centered around our principals?
That is the model, yes.
So I think from what you're saying, it might be helpful to us to hear the testimony from them versus the testimony from you. That would be really helpful in making this decision, because this is, even though it's ESSER money, that ESSER money, we're going to have to be careful how it's used. And then, so to your point, we're not really sure of the impact of it, of those people who are most affected by that impact. And it would be much more helpful for us if we heard from them. So can you account for any of that without speaking for per se, but?
While I can't speak for principals, what I would say is that particularly in the coaches that Relay brings, and in this case for us, Mr. Rooney, these are proven, demonstrated turnaround, I would almost say experts. These are folks who have done the work in other parts of the country. Mr. Rooney has done turnaround work in New York, in the New York public school system. He now works in Indianapolis. But all of the coaches that are part of the Relay Graduate School of Education, again, are proven and demonstrated experts. And that is a skill set, I would dare say, is one that's sorely needed and probably, arguably, in short supply across the state of North Carolina. There are folks who have worked and have moved schools a couple of letter grades, but when you talk about the experience of a leader who you can say has been in the school and really turned a school around from a low-performing school and moved it off the low-performing list, there are probably not many who can say that. And that's the kind of experience that Relay brings and provides to our principals through that Get Better Faster sequence, scope and sequence. And this is the framework that they use to do that work. And so that for me, I think is sort of the seller. The sticking point for me is how do we take advantage of that experience, that knowledge, that skill set, put it in a bottle and bring it here to Warren County and help provide that support to our principals. And so that's sort of the selling point for me.
So the principals, they did have a buy-in into this, you know.
Yes, you can see some of that in the evidence of impact. These are their comments, quotes that came from the principals. They've attended both the NC ELA sessions that the state provides throughout the course of the year. If you think about it as, you know, sort of mini sessions or conferences that they've attended, and as they've attended those, Relay has captured their thoughts, their quotes. So they're not here tonight to present that, but you can hear their voices, so to speak, in the evidence of impact.
So, Madam Chair.
I guess I'm kind of old school. You know, I would have been excited and you know, if, as a principal and said, you know, I'm excited about this. This is happening at my school, but I haven't heard that. You know, and it just.
Okay. Madam Chair, may I ask a question? Joyce, I guess my question would maybe piggyback off of yours, Joyce, is, you know, Keith, I just don't want it to be one more thing that principals have to do. Are we going to give them the time to be able to go back to their schools and unpack all of this information and not just have taken notes and don't apply those notes that they've taken? And then I guess even more so, how are we going to hold these principals accountable? Because I think we have dynamic executive leaders and layers of MTSS coaches and all the great people that you put in place that I think is going in the right direction. But how are we going to hold the principals accountable after getting $95,000 per the next 4 or 5 years? How can we show accountability for our resources? Do you know? Or can you share?
Again, one, we're just asking for that for this year. We will have to come back and get approval.
I understand, but
I think in terms of, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I understand just this year, but if we know, and we do know as educators, we do know that research does say there's no reason for us to say, okay, well, like, we're going to do it for this year, but we may not ever see if we don't, you know, continue something if it's working. So I guess my question is, it's been used with ESSA funds so far. How are we holding the principals accountable, saying, okay, how has this been impactful to you? Do we have some type of measurement? I know what they've said, but, you know, how are we going to hold them accountable?
Obviously, I think the biggest, or the most obvious accountability piece would be looking at their accountability scores and being able to move schools and see some progression each year. Would we see a school go from an F to an A or B in 1 year? That's probably not likely, but if we're seeing them move up each year, I think that's certainly evidence of growth and impact. But I think also how they're implementing this work over the course of the year, how we're seeing them go about holding their own staff and faculty accountable, improving their observations and going into classrooms more. When they get into classrooms, what types of things are they looking for? What are things that they expect to see as they walk into their classrooms and the principal, and the same thing for us as central office leadership. What types of things are we looking for and expectations? And then I think most important is developing their instructional leadership capacity so that they too can then walk into, again, buildings, classrooms, working with their peers, their cohorts, and building their instructional leadership capacity and building that through their teachers and doing things such as modeling in their classrooms, and finding other ways to make sure that they're providing strong feedback to our teachers and that sort of thing, and growing them as leaders both in their classrooms and in the school building. All that, I think, translates to improved capacity in each school, and that will help move a school, I think, progressively perhaps one letter grade at a time. And I think, obviously a lot of that will fall on me as superintendent, as our academic staff, Dr. Clemens and our team, LaTanya McNeil, who is working as school improvement, director of school performance. All of that hinges on us holding them accountable, me holding our staff accountable for that, holding myself accountable for that, and hopefully seeing some growth in our schools. And the state is here to help us in that regard, and I think working with them through this framework, we can get that work done.
And Keith, I truly believe that this is a great resource. I really do. I just want to, make sure that it's not, that we have committed leaders that, we pour all these resources in, because I know the Robeson County, they have grown tremendously. So I've been watching, so I see that. And I didn't know this was a program, though. However, I see the growth, but I guess what I'm saying is we don't want it to be one more thing and they put it up, on a shelf and it's not used because the time is, well spent. It's a rich program. I do realize that. So just my thoughts.
Well, last I would say, and I, ask our staff if anybody wants to add anything. This was a significant investment that the state took in using its ESSER funding to support us. We appreciate their selecting us as one of the recipients of that additional ESSER money. I think we would do our principals a disservice to provide this support to them for 1 year and then sort of, for lack of a better word, pull the rug out from under them. We've made they've made that investment in them. I'd like to see us make that investment in our principals and continue to develop their instructional leadership capacity and continue to see this work progress. I don't want to put our staff on the spot, but I'll ask Dr. Clemens if she wants to comment. They've been part of this work. Dr. Simons is here as principal of the high school if she wants to add any comments as well, just in sharing what you all think about. No pressure.
No, that's okay. Thanks for the opportunity. And I would say that, I would speak first not as the chief academic officer, but as former principal and state principal of the year. And I will say that the work with NC-ELA, the Instructional Leadership Academy, is one of the best professional development academy that I have seen. And even as a principal who wasn't really eligible to kind of go to the academy, wishing that I could because of the strong strategies and tools and evidence-based practices that is embedded in this program. I will say one of the things that was said about one more thing, this is the main thing. If we are to improve performance of our students, we have to build capacity of teachers, we have to build capacity of principals, and we all know that. But the work is more than just saying, oh, go do this. We know the what, but it's the how that this provides. It is the very explicit, ongoing following up of how do we coach our principals so that they're doing this each and every day. Because their days are consumed with so many other things outside of instruction. And if we're not giving them the tools, then we can't move the needle forward. So, I mean, all the principals, the 4 that have been, and I won't speak for them either, but have been involved in that, they have given positive feedback when our coach, Mr. Rooney, has been here to help coach and modeling what it looks like and giving them opportunities to practice. And so oftentimes we talk about teacher, coaches, but principals need coaches too. And this level of work is very complex and it's hard, especially in schools that are designated as low performing, where we have maybe some behavior or SEL to kind of issues and to address in our schools, and so it makes it much harder for principals right now to focus on instruction. So this kind of work helps provide that support. So definitely an advocate for NC-ELA and Relay and the coaching framework that they provide.
That's the kind of excitement I would like. That's what I like.
That's the testimony. And Dr. Simons, did you want to say something without putting you on the spot?
I would have to say that absolutely, everything that Dr. Clemens said, I would have to concur with that. The information and the training that I received has been valuable. So again, continuing it would definitely help me as an instructional leader.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Okie dokie then.
Well, that's
Maybe,
helpful.
maybe you should have put, Keith, maybe you should have put your folks in the district up first.
Well, no, and I think to their point is you have to hear the work reverberate through,
That's it.
the climate and the culture and the people. We know it's good coaching. We're sure it's good coaching. But is it taking hold and can we feel it? The
That's
ripple
right.
effects of it. So that was helpful.
So, Madam Chair.
So wait 1 second. I want Mr. Sutton to one more time explain to us which of these options is the recommendation and how you intend to pay for it.
Our recommendation is for option C. And again, we could obviously pay for this with ESSER funds, but those funds expire. So to the extent that we can utilize ESSER funds through the remainder of this year, we'll be able to do that, and anything that's left or remaining, we'll pay for with district funds.
So you don't have a breakdown of how much?
Like we can only encumber ESSER funds and use those funds through, I want to say through December. We put in for those funds and encumber them, and then I think any expenditures throughout, so if we break this down over a monthly contract, you're looking at about half of the contract through December, so July 1 through December would be half of the contract period. So we would be able to use, I think, about a maximum of
Maybe.
roughly $50,000, or just short of $50,000
Okay.
in ESSER funds, because we'd only have those available through
That.
the first half of the year.
Okay. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I think that was clear before we vote. And Attorney O'Keefe, this is predicated on a service agreement. Do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I would, because the district is expending funds for the first time for this program, I would recommend that there be a service contract between the district and this graduate school vendor, Relay, that lays out exactly what the district would be responsible for paying, what services would be contemplated, and I think our general service contract template could be used for that. So I think a motion should be made to approve it contingent on review and approval of a service contract by the superintendent and board attorney.
I hope.
So moved.
Oh. Did you, okay.
Well,
So-
Ebony said, you're so
Okay.
moved.
So moved, okay.
Second.
Then I have a second. Okay, so I have a motion by Board Member Byrd and a second by Board Member Long that we approve the Relay Warren County Partnership contingent upon a service contract approved by Superintendent Sutton and Attorney O'Keefe. Does that meet the need? Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, may we vote? As well as with the voting sound of aye?
Aye.
Aye. I can't see, where am I? My mouse is not, oh good, I went out totally. Okay, that motion carries, sorry. Okay, the next action item is the local application for career and technical education. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Mr. Fogg? I got it right.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I stand before you tonight to present the local application for career and technical education for 2024 to 2026. The state's recommendation is for us to do a 2-year plan, but we do have to, it's a continuous living plan, but we do have to come before you each year just to give you updates. The purpose of this plan is to talk about Perkins 5, and it represents an important opportunity to expand the opportunities for career and technical education. Talks about CTE concentrators, which are students that have successfully completed CTE courses and have become a concentrator in an approved career pathway of program of study. A concentrator course is a second or third level course that builds upon skills acquired in a prerequisite course. We house our plans inside what we call NCCIP, which is where all of the state and federal grants are housed. And that's where it can be found for public viewing. And the data that we will be presenting this evening will be from 2022 to 2023, so that you all will have access of the data. This just talks about, this particular slide talks about our key performance indicators, and it tells you when they're reported to CCIP and how they're counted in our data. This talks about the subgroups of our male and female students and the duplicate count and unduplicated count on the middle grades as well as high school. So for high school, as of last year, we had 532 duplicated count where they took one or more courses, and for the unduplicated count, it was 340. Middle grades was 479 for duplicated and 304 for unduplicated. These are the concentrators in which are reported to CCIP, and these concentrators are how we measure in the district to show where our primary source of students are really taking the courses at. For this particular school year, I have a diagram that follows it. Human services are our largest concentrator courses at this moment, our pathways. And then we have architecture and construction, arts and audiovisual and technical communications, and health sciences. This gives you an idea of what our key performance indicators were for the year of 2022-2023. The blue is our benchmark, and the orange is our actual. So for 1S1, our 4-year graduation cohort rate, it was a 94.91 for benchmark, and we actually had 90.20. For the 2S1, the academic language arts, we had 5% was our benchmark, and we scored 12.5%. Bless you.
Excuse me.
Then for our mathematics, we had 11.36% as our benchmark, and we were at 5% for our actual score. For the science 2S3, it was 10.51, and we scored at 7%. For 3S1, we were at 100% for benchmark, and we scored 66.67%. 4S1, which is non-traditional, the actual benchmark was 16.23%, and our actual was 24.36%. 5S1 was program credentialing. That was at 15.50%, and we scored at 43.20%. And 5S4 was credentials for certifications, and we were at 47.41 for benchmark, and we had an actual score of percent of 42.93. So next, we're going to talk about the narratives that the state asked us to write. In these narratives, the first one says, describe how students, including special population students, will learn about their school's CTE course offerings and whether each course is part of a CTE pathway. So for us, Warren County Schools extends a comprehensive high school selection program tailored for 8th grade students. The program's primary focus is delivering transparent information regarding CTE courses, course offerings, and pathways. It encompasses a variety of activities such as student and parent meetings, tours, open houses at both Warren County High School and Warren Early College. We also make sure that we have our CDCs, which are career development coordinators, both present for high school and middle school to help our students and parents to make an informed decision. The next narrative talks about describing how the following activities will be provided in collaboration with local workforce development boards and other local workforce agencies, WIOA, one-stop delivery systems, and other partners. And as a sub-question, it says career exploration and career development coursework, activities, or services. So here, Warren County Schools ensures that students have access to a comprehensive career awareness initiatives. These initiatives are coordinated by the CTE leadership team, which consists of the director, the CDCs, as well as our CTE coordinator. This team encompasses a range of activities tailored to meet the diverse needs of students. Students participate in career day activities each year featuring guest speakers and a variety of industry speakers to provide insight in different career paths. Some partners that we currently work with, it's just a small list, is to be included but not limited to. They are Wake AHEC, which stands for Wake Area Health Educational Center, Warren County Local Government, Cartall Regional Council of Government, NC Works, Vance Grammar Community College, Warren County Cooperative Extension, North Carolina Department of Transportation, Working Landscapes, CARE / the John 316 Center, and other area local businesses. The next is career information on employment opportunities that incorporate the most up-to-date information on high-skill, high-wage, or in high-demand industry sectors or occupations as determined by the Comprehensive Local Needs Assessment. This assessment was done preliminary before we wrote the plan to see where our strengths and weaknesses were. In this plan, it outlined that, according to the local needs, the school district will ensure that career information on employment opportunities is consistent with the most insights into high-skill, high-wage, and high-demand industry sectors or occupations. In achieving this, the district will leverage the expertise of CTE Business Advisory Council members, community leaders, and entrepreneurs, in addition to a partner of My Future NC. In achieving this, students can access online career development tools such as ONET, the Star Job Support, and the College Foundation of North Carolina, which is known as CFNC, which provides the latest information on high-demand occupations. Platforms to include, but not limited to, would be Zello, Pathful, and Conero, which will engage students and equip them with the essential soft skills needed for the workforce development. Here again, we also partner with our local Warren County government as well as our My Future NC. The next one, provide career exploration and career development through a systematic framework designed to aid students, including the middle grades, before entering while participating in a career and technical educational program in making informed plans and decisions about education and career opportunities and programs of study. Again, a comprehensive career exploration and development for students included in those middle grades will be leveraged by multiple resources. Zello will facilitate the creation of the career development plans, which are mandated by the state, guiding students through informed decision-making process. Pathful serves as an integrated workforce readiness system, integrating college and career readiness components, work-based learning opportunities, and employability platforms with content tailored to students' progression through the school. We also have installed some career-ready labs inside of the middle grades to give them an opportunity to explore options before they go out to make a decision. It allows us to pique their interest and to see what they are looking to do. And that's also known for us as the Paxton Patterson Lab, as well as ICEB. The next, provide activities to prepare special populations for high-skill, high-wage, or in high-demand sectors or occupations that will lead to self-sufficiency. We again partner with our Business Advisory Council in addition to other stakeholders to gain external support for courses. The Advisory Council will be a resource for networking and recruiting volunteers to serve as guest speakers, also to talk about non-traditional careers. A lot of times, we are the first line of exposing students to non-traditional careers, such as male nurses in the industry, such as male teachers in the industry, black male teachers in the industry. CTE Business Advisory Council members are to provide resources for all special population categories to improve employability skills. Examples, reading, language, arts, and science scores. Enhancing instruction quality is the goal of the collaboration between the EC department, CTE teachers, and the coordinator as they implement a modified blueprint from the Occupational Course of Study program for students' learning. The leadership team will also work with Vance Granville to promote college and career promise classes for Warren County students and to help them excel as being a liaison between them and the parent for those special services that may be needed, but they just don't want to identify because they're students. And parents sometimes do not know what services are being offered for community college because they are not the point of contact. The students are then at that point an adult, according to the college, even though they're still our students.
Mr. Fogg, I know most of these narratives were shared with the board in the curriculum committee when we presented this. Are there any sort of high-level executive summary points that you want to share with the board before they approve this application?
Definitely, I want to talk about the budget, just to let you guys know. CT is self-sustaining, and we're funded through our ADM. And this year, they anticipated the ADM on 1,616 students. So with that being said, this is the anticipated budget for this year. We were allotted 123 months, where we had from last year 129. So we lost a fair amount of months, a half a person, 6 months. PRC 14, which is our state allotment, it gives us $35,898.70 is what we were given this year. Last year we had $37,439, which is a difference of $1,540.30, and then our federal budget at this moment has stayed the same at $57,783. And that is the biggest highlight at this moment. It's just the funding and how that fluctuates with average daily membership. Are there any other questions?
You made a comment that sometimes the parents don't know what's offered at the community college, you know.
Right.
Is there some way you can do a new, not only in community college, but even at the high school and in the middle school, to do some kind of newsletter?
Yes.
To go out to parents and just so they can, have that reference to look at what is offered here, because the majority, they really don't know what.
Yes.
Can we do that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Boardman, I want to be clear on that request. You're asking for a newsletter or some other form of communication that would share with parents and families CTE offerings, course opportunities, and that sort of thing? Is
Yeah,
that-
what's offered, so they know, you know. And I know when they go, the counselors at the schools may, you know, provide that information, but a lot of times they need some point of reference, you know. This is offered, did you check and ask your child, you know, did you check into that? What about this course, you know? I think we need more publicity on that, because I think we do offer a lot of things.
We do. And one thing we have done too with our high school CDC particularly, they reach and touch every child from 9th to 12th grade.
Okay.
So that is a very frame of reference, a point of reference for the students, so they have somebody locally on staff at the high school. So if they are taking a college class and they're falling behind, Vance Granville immediately sends the CDC an email saying, hey, this child is dropped below. And then that teacher, that CDC at that moment, calls the child or sends a child an email, say, hey, we noticed this, we noticed that. But yes, and we do try to take that extra step to let the parent know. Sometimes the parents don't know.
Right.
So yes, we have implemented that layer this year, just knowing as we're growing in our CCP classes and our partnership with Vance Granville, we know that we need to provide that extra level of support for those students.
Yeah.
Mr. Fong, I know we have a CTE night and
Yes.
some of those things. Can you talk a little about the things that we already have in place?
Sure.
That provide that awareness to both students
Yeah.
and parents, and then how we can improve upon those?
Sure.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think you still need that extra thing, you know, so that for parents, you know, so they know, because they don't know. And a lot of times they don't, because of conflicts or some other reasons, they can't attend those meetings.
So one thing that we did do this year too is Vance Granville came and did a presentation called Senior Night. We've done it before, but this year it was a little bit more intense because, again, we know that each year requires additional support. So this year we had Vance Granville to come and present. Ms. Jordan, our CDC for high school, presented. I was there to present, and at that moment, we actually had actual comments from parents to say, hey, my child stayed an additional semester because they could have graduated early just to take a CTE class, because I know if I graduate early, yes, I'm on my own. And that student could have left in December, but that student stayed just to take carpentry. So we did have those types of testimonies, and that also helped parents that were there that had no knowledge of CCP classes. It had the testimony, like you all asked for the testimony about the NC-ELA from the principals. That was there without us having to initiate that. The parents stood up and said, yes, I've seen the growth of my child. This is one thing we've encouraged. And their parent was a business owner. We've tried to do more informational sessions, especially around parent-teacher conference night. We try to do information sessions that are about 30 minutes to give them a time to come in and learn how to read the transcript for your student, or have you done your FAFSA for this moment. Those types of info sessions to just get them acclimated on what physically goes on in high school. We do know some of our students have parents that have not finished school. So some of those things are very different. And this year was very unique because of the FAFSA took quite some time to get approved. So just trying to navigate through those things, as well as Vance Granville giving all of our students this year enrollment into Vance Granville. So we have 100% enrollment for Vance Granville Community College for all of our seniors that just graduated. So again, just navigating through that and helping them understand what's at stake and what they have at the fingertips to use.
Right. Do you have a brochure for us that I'm sure always needs updated, but something, I know it's kind of old school, but at the same time, some people, that's how they, you know, they can inform themselves enough to maybe then ask a question.
So what we're doing, we're actually reconstructing the brochure. We're updating our academy models, and we're looking to see what we're going to continue to offer, what's worked, what hasn't worked, see if we need to do all of those before we actually print some additional brochures for this upcoming school year.
Yeah, because I had a conversation with a parent, and she just didn't know certain things were offered.
Right.
You know, so I think we need to work with that, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, one question, if I could, Mr. Paul.
Yes, ma'am.
I heard you say, and I really think, I'm really impressed with the fact that the students are getting the credentials, because credentials equate jobs. You know, they got those credentials, they can go on a job and have the skill or the capacity to do the job. My question, though, is when you have those industry council meetings or the partnerships that you have built along with your team and the community that these students work with, do they hire any of our students after they graduate?
So we're currently working on a model of what they're looking for and how we can address that need that they needing to fill. At one point pre-pandemic, we were a part of a partnership called NC-TAP. And with NC-TAP, they would tell us what they're looking for. We would take kids around to 5 to 6 different industries, and they get a chance to see, and then they would meet with their parent to talk about that. So from the recovery of that, Vance Grandma has what's called a manufacturing alliance, where we're starting to host. We're going to rotate from school to school in the 4-county consortium that Vance Grandma sits in, so that those industry partners can see what each school district has to offer, so that they can help make informed decisions, and even giving our children job shadowing opportunities.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any further
Do
discussion?
some of these companies have internships?
Yes.
Okay,
Internships and externships.
okay.
And we're actually working with them to do virtual job shadowing, because age may be a factor where they can't physically come into the building because of liability.
Okay, do you have anything else? Okay, if there's no more discussion, then I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve the 2024-2026 local application for career and technical education.
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion that we approve the 24-26 local application for career and
Second.
technical education.
Second?
I second.
I think I heard you first, Ms. Byrd, so I have a motion from Board Member Long and a second from Board Member Byrd that we approve the 2024-2026 local application for career and technical education. Any further discussion? Hearing none, may we vote? As well as with the voting sound of aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fogg. I need a new mouse. There we go. All right. Next on the agenda is 8.3 Elevate K through 12 proposal.
I'll start with this, and Dr. Whitaker is going to provide some support as well. But in our effort, and everyone is familiar with the teacher shortages, labor shortages that we're seeing, and the difficulty, as you've heard in previous presentations, in hiring teachers. And so in our effort to address the teaching shortages and staff vacancies, we're proposing an innovative partnership with Elevate K-12. Several districts around the state are turning to Elevate K-12 to provide remarkable teaching from a certified, experienced educator who is committed to student success. Elevate provides live online teaching from licensed North Carolina teachers. Unlike remote learning, students participate in live classes together in our classrooms and on our bell schedule. Partner districts provide on-the-ground support. Partner districts like we might be, provide on-ground support and via classroom coaches who are often paraprofessionals, long-term subs, or staff members. We are seeking to pilot this program at Warren County High School for the 24-25 school year, and staff. So we're seeking approval of the Elevate K-12 proposal, subject to a properly executed contract. We're working on that contract with Farrington Smith, and they've already provided us with a document to provide to Elevate in the event that this proposal is approved. We want to share a couple of videos that talk more about live online teaching, and then we'll answer any questions. Again, we see this as being a little bit different from our virtual instruction, where students are in their homes working on computers. Again, in this instance or scenario, students will be in class, very similar to what we're seeing Board Member Tyler Brain on the screen there, where students will be in class like we're sitting now and receiving instruction from a teacher, a live teacher on the other end of the screen. This would help us in making sure that we're able to provide, while not the, I think any of us as educators would agree it's not the most optimal situation, if I can be honest, but certainly helps us in being able to tap into innovation, and this is quite honestly where teaching and instruction is headed in the future. Again, it helps us address some of the vacancies and ensures that on the first day of school, if we aren't able to hire a live teacher in the classroom, this gives us an option of having a live certified, a North Carolina certified teacher that is an experienced teacher as well. Most of Elevate's teachers on average have about 13 years experience, so we're not looking at a beginning teacher. In most instances, you're talking about a teacher with at least 10 years more experience. But we'll start the video and go from there.
This is not online instruction. This is not virtual instruction. This truly is live teaching. And to be able to take someone that's experienced, someone that's certified, someone that is well prepared, to be able to put them in front of a classroom really is a no-brainer for any district who has vacancies.
The live teaching model was very, very impactful on our students. They're getting the same exact results, and even sometimes the scores are even better.
And so what we have seen is that it does have an impact. The students are learning because they are engaged, and so we're happy with the results of Elevate.
I get to do what I love, which is teach. What Elevate did, it gave me an opportunity to connect with students live. And so it helped me feel like a real teacher again.
It made me fall in love with teaching again. I've never been so happy as I am now being with Elevate.
So that's just an example of what sort of the Elevate platform looks like. Again, we have a proposal. What we're proposing is for the year 24-25, using Elevate to do a Math 1 class for our freshmen, and also an English Language Arts class as well, and pilot this for 1 year at the high school and see if this is a viable solution for us as we continue to see vacancies and a challenge with filling vacancies with certified teachers. So,
you said Math 1 and what else?
Math 1 and English 1. Is it English Language Arts 1? English 1 at the high school.
And by the time you pay a teacher, I was looking at the budget amount, you know, you're still coming out fairly similar.
It's fairly similar, as I mentioned earlier to y'all, slightly.
Yeah.
We save a little bit.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but we do save some. That difference is made up in what you would pay both in benefits
and
to a
stuff.
teacher,
Yeah.
and you add to it our supplement, and that's about what we would save in this proposal.
So you don't have to give these people supplement?
We don't have
Okay.
to pay a supplement. We don't have to pay any benefits.
Yeah.
And so what we pay would come from monies from those vacancies and lapsed salaries. So we would still be using the same money that we pay for a teacher. We would use that funding to
Right.
pay for.
So you can use state funding?
Yes, that would be state funding,
Okay,
yes.
state funding.
And I would just like to add too, there was several more videos. There were quite a few. I want to say almost like 10 or 15 videos.
We have one additional here if you'd like to see it.
No, I've seen all of them. I
but-
saw several, the teachers.
Yes.
I saw all of those videos yesterday, so it's more than just one. I'm just encouraging
Okay.
You know, someone that they can look at them if they want.
And I know it's worked because, well, this is nothing new, because in 2008, it was done at the high school. Had a teacher from School of Math and Science. And, you know, they could say, you know, Johnny, you need to have a seat, or, you know, because it was, so it works well. I've seen it in action.
So what's the cost of then having someone in the classroom as well as the virtual teacher? That's an additional cost, right?
Right, so we would use one of our either teacher assistants that we already have on staff or online facilitator. So it would still be a cost savings because you would have an individual that's already staffed in the building as well that will push into these classrooms. And typically what we're looking for are staff that are skilled in these areas as well. Somebody that can be able to provide some hands-on support for students as the live teachers coming through.
We have existing staff, so we were not hiring new staff.
Right.
For these. Our current paraprofessionals, teacher assistants, we would use and just strategically move those in place to assist with these classrooms. So students would not be sitting in a classroom just relying on the teacher on the screen. There will still be an adult in the classroom that's working with students, ensuring that they're online, ensuring behavior and other things like that are being managed appropriately so that students can learn from this platform. And as Board Member Long said, this is something that has been used before in the district. It's being used right now in about 11 or 12 other districts across the state. So it is where other districts are going to address the teacher shortage. We want to be proactive and get ahead of the curve so that, one, we can get the best of those that they have to offer. We don't want to sit here and wait until late July, August, and discover that we can't find a teacher to fill a position, and then we go to the first day of school with vacancies and subs teaching, particularly in our tested subjects. That we want to try to avoid. We've seen that happen over the last couple of years. We don't want to go into another year. We find ourselves in that same situation. So this is a proactive effort to try to address that ahead of time.
And I'm sure they have, I guess through the virtual, can contact the teacher at any time. You know, I guess she has a certain time to do one-on-one, you know, individualized, you know, if they didn't understand something.
We do have built into the proposal office hours, which provides for both planning time for those teachers as well as opportunity to help students if they need it beyond the classroom. Yes.
Is this contract?
So I have one question, I'm sorry.
Excuse me. Okay, Ebony, wait a second. I don't think you heard I was speaking then, okay?
I didn't, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Is this a contract with the district or the school? Because I get it, but I don't get it. I've just looked at vacancies. There's no vacancy for an English language teacher at Warren County High School. There's no vacancy at this point for a math teacher. There is a vacancy for a math teacher both at Early College and at Warren County Middle School. So why aren't we finding the teacher instead of I just don't quite understand kind of the cart before the horse. I understand that it's better than having no teacher, but I don't see where we're even looking for a teacher at this point. There's no vacancy on the Warren County, and I have a problem with that. And there's no math teacher at Early College High School, and there's no math teacher at Warren County Middle School. So why are we programming no math teacher at the high school and putting this in? I get the concept, but I'm struggling with the implementation.
The contract is with the district, not with Warren County High School. So depending upon where those vacancies occur, and we anticipate that we will have some, I think it would be irresponsible for us to believe or think that we would open up the year, of course, it's our goal to have every vacancy filled and not have any. But again, given what we're seeing in the teaching force, in the labor force, the chances of that are unlikely. And so again, this is a proactive step that we're taking to make sure that we're able to fill and cover vacancies, number one. Two, as a pilot, it allows us to test this out to see if this works both for the district, for our staff, and for students. We know that for many of our students, they have indicated they don't really like virtual instruction. Again, we don't see this quite the same as virtual instruction, but I think their point is they don't have a teacher standing in front of them, and that they would like to have. So we feel like this is the best way for us to pilot this for a year. We've talked to other districts who have done this. They don't feel like a semester gives you enough time to see and feel this out and if this works. So we want to try it for the 24-25 school year, and through this, it purchases us several periods. And those can be moved throughout the district. It's not, doesn't have to be math or English 1. If we hire a teacher next week or next month for Math 1, then we can shift those hours or periods to social studies, history, or what have you. So we're not locked into the particular teachers or subject matter. What we're purchasing is a number of periods where we will have that live online instruction.
So my question is there a vacancy for English 9 and Math 1 at the high school?
There will be some
There will
coming
be.
before you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
There will be, but it can't be posted yet because it's not posted.
That's correct.
If I
I
could
just want to make sure that we're actively pursuing teachers before we put this in place.
If I could interject for just a moment. So I know the board members don't have it in the materials in front of them. My colleague Sharon Lynn drafted a proposed service contract to capture the purchase of materials and services in this agreement, assuming it's approved by the board. And one of the terms of that proposal is that the board maintains the right to terminate for convenience, meaning you can decide in September, October, November, you'd like to terminate the contract. At that point, the board would be responsible for paying the pro rata basis, kind of the monthly fee for services actually incurred as of that point. Now, we don't know yet whether the proposed contractor here has agreed to those terms, but we have seen agreement to similar terms like that when we've negotiated similar deals with other providers of these sorts of services. So that would just be one thing to keep in mind. The other piece I just wanted to ask for clarification about is the amount that the board's being asked to approve. Because one of I looked at the first two PDFs, Dr. Whitaker. One of them for the Math 1 and ELA periods, there's just one set amount for $201,123. And then for the other package, it's for Math 1, and it gives a range. So it gives kind of a low amount of $133,906.50, and then it gives a higher kind of maximum budget amount of $203,000 and change, noting that that maximum budget can be used if the district decides to pay for more classes or more periods. So I just wanted to be clear for the second one, like which amount.
It's the first one, it's the math and ELA for 201.
It's just that number, nothing
Correct.
else. Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Board Member Tally Brain, do you want to say something now?
Yeah, thank you. So Mara did ask the question about the money. I was just a little bit confused, so thank you for that. The other question is maybe a crazy question, but I'm trying to visualize. So is the live instructor or teacher going to be on a big smart board, or will the students have their own individual Chromebooks?
It will be on a screen, on a TV, sort of like what we have, you can't see it obviously, but sort of like we have you set up in the room now, on a screen, on a cart, like that.
Okay.
That's brought into the classroom.
So then they really have a live teacher, everybody listening to the same thing at the same time, like they would a real teacher.
That's right.
I think that's great.
That's the difference between a virtual session where students are at home, they're looking on their own Chromebooks, students are in a classroom together, learning together in a synchronous fashion but the teachers are simply live online on the screen.
And they
And
can
they'll have the
also-
opportunity to stop and ask questions
Yeah.
and all that stuff right on point.
That's correct.
Yes.
And that, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's great. Thank you for, I'd rather have that than to have no instructor or sub, that maybe not know the pedagogy, so.
And they're highly qualified.
Yes.
Yep. And they certified.
Do we have I'm asking, do we have the technology to support this?
Yes.
Well, they had in
Yes, but yes, we do.
2008. It's gone.
Okay. So will the computers sit in the room and they'll stay in the room or, because they're not one-to-one anymore, right?
They still have their Chromebooks, especially using other classes. So this is just certain classes where this is provided, where again, there's a vacancy. This does not take the place of their individual devices.
Okay.
Well, I was going to say, the video showed that the students can ask a question to the teacher, certified teacher, while they're in class. And the teacher did address the question immediately. So they do have their own, lab computers in the classroom.
Could you get that budget thing again? How much will the cost be that we need to approve?
It's the 201,123. Yes, ma'am, the $201,123 figure.
That's the maximum.
Yes, ma'am. That's the minimum and the max.
And that's what we're going for, the maximum, not the minimum?
No,
It's actually, the
that's-
figure's the same on this proposal, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so I think it's not that proposal. It's just the math ELA, because I think if you scroll up, that's for math, just math.
Okay, just math.
Yeah,
That's
so
it.
this is the amount for which y'all are seeking
Yes.
approval.
This just math.
No, that's
Math
both.
and ELA.
Well, this is math and ELA right here.
That's right.
Yes,
Right.
math and
That's
ELA.
right. Come back down a little bit.
So what's on the screen is what the amount they're asking for. It's a different attachment.
Okay, it's a different attachment.
Yeah.
I don't have that. Okay. I guess
So that's the breakdown.
We're scrapping that one.
Okay. Okay, so 133,740 is for the math, one.
Correct.
It's experience.
Okay.
Which is a tested subject, right?
That's
why I'm
correct.
still challenged why we're choosing Math 9 ahead of the game. But I'm all right. All right, any further questions, discussion?
So this would not be used at any school but the Warren County High School?
That's what we're planning on piloting it. yeah.
We're not willing to say that, because again, we could be, fingers crossed, fully staffed as we continue to work over the summer in trying to fill those positions. So we're not giving up on our recruitment efforts. But if we look at, again, past history and knowing what's available, given the shortages, again, this is a proactive step on our part to ensure that we're not opening the year with subs in tested subjects.
Okay, let's say there's a vacancy at Warren County High School. And there's a vacancy at Warren Early College. And someone comes in to apply. They apply for the high school. So which school would you recommend them for if you decide to go with that person? What do you think that this is better for the high school or for early college? You have two situations the same.
Ninth grade math is
I think
ninth grade math.
this gives us the flexibility to use at either if it's needed. So it's not, again, Our focus here is, again, looking at trying to pilot this at the high school, but this does not lock us in. We can ensure that that's in the contract. If we need to specify that in the contract, that we could use it at either high school or even the middle school if we need.
Yeah, because that's where the
But
two openings are.
I don't think it would be fair if you had a qualified person to come in and you send them to the early college rather than use them at the high school, Warren County High School. You don't follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, and sometimes it depends on where they apply to, Ms. Long. So you're saying if they apply to both locations, then it would be in that
Warren County
situation.
schools as a math high school teacher.
Right, but yes, but typically I know they would probably apply to one, but I get what you're saying. So if they apply to both, and in that situation, we could have the conversation.
They might
about
say, you
where
know,
the-
it doesn't matter where I go,
Right.
as long as I, you know.
And we certainly could look at where the greatest need is.
So you're talking about the equity, in terms of equity?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would say, I think, if I'm understanding just your question, people typically, obviously, as you well know, they apply to a school.
Yeah.
In some cases, and maybe we could look at changing our model where you're applying to the district instead of the school, and then we could assign based on need. That's a different hiring model. I don't know of too many districts that do it that way, but that's
I don't think so, yeah.
that we could consider. If I'm understanding the question.
Yeah, I think they typically keep applied to the school because some of their licensures are just like for middle school, middle grades, or high school, and they can't do elementary. You have to have that licensure. So, if you're saying to the district and you place me, I may not want to go to Northside. I may be okay with Marion Board, and I may have a licensure for elementary, but I may have a preference. So, I don't know. Something maybe to consider, something to also think about, continue to think about.
Yeah, because I've known situations where I have interviewed a teacher and say, well, I feel that position, but there's an opening at this school.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, okay, that's fine. It's not, or no, I don't want it, But I'm just saying, if that situation occurs, where do we stand? And I guess that's a work in progress, so.
And Dr. Whitaker can speak to that, but that's something that we often do. As we see qualified applicants apply to the district, sometimes the position has just been filled. We have another candidate in mind for that position, but we have something else or something available here. Would you consider or would you be open to another opportunity? Those are conversations that we routinely have with applicants.
Because sometimes during the vetting process, you can easily find a candidate that may be a better fit for a different position. And also speaking to you all's point about generic job postings, we can do generic postings and just having in the descriptor that it would be for, could be up to multiple schools that we could assign to, but that would be definitely a conversation we would have going in to get a larger pool. So that's definitely something we can take a look at to get some additional.
I guess I would say this to you, Dr. Whitaker.
Yes, ma'am.
Seemingly, you're going to have your plate full because according to, if I heard correctly, with Ms. Rayshawn Price,
yes, ma'am.
you're going to be working with her to get 6 more teachers, along with what you have to fill vacancies for the district and, our vacancies now, correct?
Yes, ma'am. So the good news with those roles, we do have applicants that are seeking out these opportunities. So we do have some candidates that are applying for those positions as we still continue to actively recruit. But yes, Ms. Hallebrand, yes, we do have our plate full, but we're committed to actively recruiting for these positions as well. We just want to have a backup plan, in the event that we don't have a certified teacher in front of children when we open up schools.
Did I hear you say that you have applicants for these 6 positions already?
Yes, ma'am, they are applying for those positions, yes, ma'am.
And we don't have applicants for the positions that we currently have in the district?
You're talking about like some of the ones that we've had that have been posted for a while,
Vacancies for
like
a long
math
time.
and like your ELAs and sometimes the science. So those are typically some of your hard to fill positions, but we are looking at different strategies to recruit for those roles. But yes, ma'am, we do have some positions that lie dormant for a while, but then with these new ones that we posted, we have had applicants that are applying, as well as Ms. Rashana Price, shared earlier, we are tapping into talent, reaching out to other talent as well, trying to recruit them here. So just using multiple strategies, but yes, ma'am, I hear you.
Right.
Okay.
That's
I have
very
a question,
interesting to
and
me.
maybe it's just something that can be clarified later, but you're saying that individuals apply to the school, not the district?
Yes,
That's
ma'am, we
correct.
post because our postings
Okay.
are typically tied to a
Okay.
school site.
But once you're employed by Warren County Schools, you can be moved at the discretion of the superintendent, correct?
Absolutely.
So then you really are applying to the district in all theory.
True. Yes, ma'am.
All right, any further discussion? All right, hearing none, then I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the Elevate K-12 proposal.
I would recommend subject to development
Oh, I'm
of
sorry.
a service contract reviewed by the superintendent and board attorney, and I would specify the amount. So just to clarify, it's for the amount of $201,123.
Do you want to say that, and then someone can say so? Do you want to get the wording exactly?
So you might entertain a motion to approve the contractual agreement with Elevate K-12 in an amount not to exceed $201,123, contingent on development of a service and purchase contract reviewed by the board attorney and superintendent.
So moved.
So moved. Okay, I have a motion by Board Member Long and a second by Board Member Byrd that we approve the Elevate K-12 proposal as suggested by board council. Any further discussion? Hearing none, then may we vote, as well as with the voting sound of aye?
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Whitaker. Okay, iReady Reading Math Program, Dr. Clemens.
So good evening again.
Good evening.
So I am standing before you seeking board approval to renew our iReady Math and Reading program for the 2024-25 school year. All the curriculum and instructional items are for our students in grades K through 8 and aligned to our North Carolina standard course of study and in alignment with our district improvement plan, where one of our action steps is to ensure that all teachers have access to core programs for ELA, math, science, and social studies. So this is in alignment with that district improvement plan. Within this program, it's a comprehensive program that includes, but not limited to, diagnostic assessments, workbooks, consumable works for students, additional activities and interventions for students to help accelerate learning, as well as professional development. So asking for the board approval requested pending the execution of a purchase agreement approved by the board's attorney and the superintendent.
This one's easy. Any discussion?
No.
I think we're all ready.
We're ready. iReady.
Then I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve the iReady Reading Math Program as presented.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the iReady Reading Math Program, the continued use of this program.
Second?
So we have a motion by Board Member Long and a second by Board Member Byrd that we approve the iReady Reading Math Program. Subject to, I can't keep up
I
with
think
it.
that contract is actually attached to the agenda.
I think that my problem is I can't hear it well enough to know.
Sorry.
Subject to,
That contract is there, isn't it?
okay,
The contract is attached.
Yeah, it's there. It's attached.
subject to
So
the
we'll need to do
attached
subject to.
contract.
It is attached to the
That's what I
materials.
said.
Yeah.
Oh. What am I missing in terms of the language, attorney?
I think Dr. Clemens,
I thought Dr. Clemens asked for subject to review by the board
Yeah,
attorney.
that's
And
all.
I looked at the materials earlier, I hadn't seen a contract, so I apologize if I missed it. I know I provided one, so.
yeah, it's there.
Okay. So I have a motion by Board Member Long, a second by Board Member Byrd, that we approve the iReady math program pending the execution of a purchase agreement approved by the board attorney and the superintendent. Any further discussion? Hearing none, may we vote? As well as with the voting sound of aye.
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 Right.
That motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Clemens. All right. I'd like to entertain a motion that we convene into closed session.
Madam Chair, I make a motion.
Sorry, excuse me one second.
I think there's an additional
Oh, I'm
action
sorry,
item.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Okay, now we have an additional action item, and that is the amendment to the testing schedule. And that is Ms. Clayton. I forgot to add that, sorry.
If you will remember, at the end of March, I came before you to get approval for our summer school testing plan, whereas our students who are not proficient could have the opportunity for summer testing. It's not called retesting anymore, but for the summer testing. And the purpose of that is so that the school's proficiency rate will increase. Growth does not count, but it does help in our proficiency, which helps in our school performance grades. Well, English 2 has constructive response, and at Warren County High School, they have a 5-day testing window because they have semester classes. And we did test on the very first day that the window opened, and I did not get the scores until Friday. And so it was difficult to put into place to get the kids there today, plus they have to have a day of remediation, and then they test. So we are requesting that we add May 29th through May 31st for remediation and summer testing for Warren County High School for English 2. There are 10 students. I got my last 2 scores today. There are 10 students. 9 of these students are within 3 points of proficiency, and 1 is a principal recommendation. If all of these students are proficient, their proficiency rate for English 2 could increase by as much as 10 percentage points.
All right.
So we are asking that we be allowed to do this remediation and summer testing May 29th through the 31st.
I think just to add some context, if you recall, on the last, when you approved the testing schedule, the testing dates for the high school were the 27th and the 28th.
Right.
Which was today and yesterday. We just received the scores on Friday. And Monday being a holiday, that would have mean we've been testing or remediation today and yesterday. So we're looking at now trying to get that done the end of this week, in the next couple of days, for these 10 students, with the potential of increasing proficiency, if we can get those students across the hump.
You said 29th and 31st?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And Dr. Simons is aware of all of this, the principal at the high school. She is aware.
She is, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you want to make a motion to amend the testing schedule to include May 29th through the 31st?
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a recommendation that we approve the testing.
The amended summer
amended
testing.
Summer testing from May 29th through 31st.
Yes, ma'am.
Second?
So I have a motion by Board Member Long and a second by Board Member Byrd that we amend the summer testing schedule to include May 29th through 31st. Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand. That motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck with that. Now, I'll entertain a motion to convene into closed session.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that the board convenes into closed session pursuant North Carolina General Statutes 14, 318, 11A1, A5, and A6 to prevent the disclosure of confidential personnel information pursuant to General Statutes 115C-321, and to consult with the board attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege pursuant to 143-318.11A3.
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion by Board Member Tally Brame and a second by Board Member Long that we convene into closed session for said recommendation. Any further discussion? Hearing none, may we vote? That motion carries. It's 8:21. We'll convene into closed session at 8:30. This meeting adjourned, sorry. All right. We're back in open session, and I'd like to modify our closed session announcement and add that the board convened for the purpose of considering a confidential student matter subject to 14-318, 11A1, and the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. I'd also like to announce 2 settlements reached. Petitioners agreed to release all claims against the district that were brought or could have been brought pursuant to IDEA and NC special education statutes in exchange for non-monetary terms and payment of up to $17,500. AW by and through his parents, NW versus Warren County Schools Board of Education, 23 EDC 04761. Petitioners agreed to release all claims against the district that were brought or could have been brought pursuant to IDEA and NC special education statutes in exchange for non-monetary terms and payment of up to $14,000. NW by and through his parents, NW versus Warren County Schools Board of Education, 23 EDC 04500. Okay.
Closed session. I mean, your HR. I think that's it for that.
Is that?
So I think we're now at action item 11.1,
Right,
approval of personnel
yeah,
report. Okay,
yeah.
just making sure.
Okay. All right, so now I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve the personnel report.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the personnel report as presented.
I second.
Okay, I have a motion by Board Member Long and a second by Board Member Byrd that we approve the personnel report as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, may we vote? As well as with the voting sound of aye. Aye. That motion carries. And at this point, I'd like to call for a motion to adjourn this meeting. A motion by Board Member Byrd, a second by Board Member Long.